what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time I'm reviewing the Transformers War for Cybertron Chapter 1 Siege, now premiering on Netflix. This is produced by Rooster and Polygon Pictures, and the story is the Transformers are pretty much down on their luck on the final days of Cybertron. The war continues on, and the Autobots and Decepticons are led by Optimus Prime and Megatron, who have pretty much their own version of peace. Megatron, who is the tyrant, has an idea of order, and Optimus Prime has an idea of freedom. Anyways, this is going to be kind of a rambling review. I'm going to try and not spoil anything, but what are my initial thoughts on the first chapter of the War for Cybertron trilogy? I think it's okay. It's not the best. I do have some problems with it, but I think it's going in a pretty good direction. The first thing that I want to bring up is actually with the toy line. I'm kind of surprised that a toy line that started off with a few deluxe class figures coming off the heels of another toy line has gotten so big that it's got Voyager classes, Leader classes, and now two different series. You got the Prime Wars and you got the War for Cybertron that actually had animated series, animated shows. And it just started off from this small thing that was meant for some adult collectors. I will tell you this is more of a grown-up show. While we have Cyberverse for kind of a younger kid, but not too young like the Rescue Bots type age demographic, this is more for, I guess, teens and adult collectors. And you could definitely tell from the first episode because Wheeljack says ass. So, and especially considering that it's also produced by Rooster Teeth, which has a history in adult content. Anyways, so I do like the fact that the designs are definitely based on the toys, but what I find kind of weird is some of the characters just kind of appear on the show. You start off with Hound, Sideswipe, I believe Chromia, Red Alert, Optimus Prime, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden some other characters will show up like Mirage or Prowl or RC or other characters. There are some characters that I found very surprising to show up. One of the concerns that I had was the voice acting, and it's not super bad. I thought it was going to be stale, but it's just very, very slow on how they speak. They give you enough information, but I almost feel like they tried to drag it on a little bit, and you kind of feel that, but at some points it does pick up, so at least there's that. Optimus Prime was my biggest concern. I believe it's the same voice actor from Cyberverse, and I do not like that voice for Optimus Prime. It just sounded like someone trying to be Optimus Prime for the first time. But in here, it's a little bit better. When he gets mad, it's just kind of awkward, but I think he's doing a better job than what he did in Cyberverse, so, props for that. I do like Ratchet. He actually had a character arc. He had, well, I guess maybe not an arc, but he had something going for him. And what I really liked about the show is the Autobots and Decepticons who don't just take orders, but question their leaders. For Megatron, a lot of the characters seem to betray him. For Optimus Prime, a lot of people seem to question him. Because Megatron, what I like about him is he definitely thinks things through. He doesn't just go at it, which I think is a better version of Megatron than some of the other versions we have been getting. But what I like about Optimus Prime is he's taking a lot of risks, because the Autobots are definitely down on their luck. And with that, you have people that question him even around him. But for Megatron's version of peace, it's order. And some people just don't think that the way he's going through it is the best choice. Even some Decepticons thought that they were believing in something entirely different. They don't entirely believe in the Autobot cause, but the way Megatron is doing his version of peace, it's not entirely what they were hoping for. So you do have certain characters that tend to switch sides, and I do kind of like that. I also do like the fact that we get to see Cybertron for a whole chapter of the series. I think that's cool. I wish we could have gone earlier, but there's a lot of character and history going on that they explain, especially between Ultra Magnus and Megatron. That was kind of surprising. And there's a lot of surprise characters that do end up showing up. I'm not trying to spoil the show, but I was quite surprised at some of the characters that just appear. In fact, they even name drop a couple characters that don't really show up, but it's good that they take acknowledgement to them. There's also a confusion with the show. They bring in Moonracer, but they pretty much just use the entire Chromia mold, and the color scheme is very similar between them. So I guess you can still buy the Siege Chromia and the Netflix Chromia and just have one as Moonracer. But it's so confusing because Optimus Prime at some point says Moonracer. I'm like, that's Chromia. But then we find out, oh, Chromia is a different character entirely. So that was kind of confusing. So, what's my opinion on it? I think the story is fine. It's not completely shocking. A lot of it pretty much takes inspiration from other series. So if you're a huge Transformers fan, you kind of pick up where this is going. But there's a few tricks to it that I do kind of like. And I also like Bumblebee in this. He's not just an optimistic kind of go-getter. He's kind of down on his luck, trying to pretty much scrap whatever he could find. And he's basically just the middleman. And he's kind of gritty. That's what I like about the show. It's kind of gritty. At worst, it's stale. At best, it's gritty. And I like that. I feel like Transformers is going in a pretty good direction. They need to fix a few things, but otherwise, it's pretty cool. So with that said, I thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe to all those fun dudes. I'll see you guys next time.